2 of Danny's adventures through Asia. This episode's going to be kind of exciting because I feel like part 1, yes, there was a lot of like, oh my gosh moments and a lot of tears. I got a lot of feedback about the fact that I cried a lot. But honestly, I'm just being honest about it. It's fine. But anyway, we'll get into part 2 because part 2 is kind of fun. It's more, I had no expectations and yet so much happened. So I don't know if I blanked on this, but I'm going to mention it anyway. Bangkok has 2 airports. So I decided to be a smart ass, thinking, oh my gosh, how do I get from my hotel in Bangkok CBD out to the airport? Having done what I did the first time, let's take the like much more relaxed approach, okay? So I was thinking, I know for a fact that the train platform is at the end of this street, which is barely a kilometre. It would be like 500 metres, so half a K, except it's 35 degrees. I'm carrying a backpack, and what they don't tell you is that half of the train platforms don't have an elevator. You have to take the stairs. And I don't know, but I was in this like state the day before and I decided to count how many stairs there were, and it was 34, and I thought, flog it, I'm not climbing these damn stairs. More to the point, I'm not about to get to the airport and be a sweaty mess. So I thought I'd be smart and look, let's just write this down and be kind of very organised next time. But I was sitting in the reception of the hotel and I decided to book an Uber/Grab and just halfway take air-conditioned transport because I just had to. I was just failing at life at this stage. So I got into the taxi, the Uber thingy, and I was so excited because I was going to go halfway to at least the next platform, which was about 20 minutes. Oh no, not even that, like 15 minutes away. And there would be an elevator to get to the air train. Now the air train is fancy. It's air-conned. It's like luxury. So what I completely forgot about was the transport on the streets with the cars and the buses and the tuk-tuks. I was thinking, holy crackers, I haven't left myself enough time, blah, blah, blah. So we get to the actual air train thing after a bit of stress. I'm not going to lie, there was a bit of unnecessary sweating in the cab because I was thinking, oh my God, I've made a really shit decision. I think they do trains and subways and stuff in Bangkok just to alleviate some of the transportation issues. But I don't think I've ever really been to a country where the platform is in the sky. So I don't know. Anyway, got my elevator, got into the air train, everything was fine, got to the airport. I don't know how I blanked on this, but the stupid Bangkok airport is like 9 stories and I was in the basement. And I don't know why I didn't take an elevator to the top, which is like level 9 or 8 or 9. But I just decided to take the escalators. Oh, again, shot myself in the foot. Bad decision. Anyway, get to the level and I'm looking at the departure board. And I don't know why I thought this would be in English, but it wasn't. It was in Thai and then in Chinese and then in, I think it was Russian, and then English. And I was like, the board is just not turning fast enough for me to actually see where I'm supposed to go to put my bag through. I'm literally heading to Koh Samui. I've got very little time. So I start stressing. I said to one of the Thai girls with the Google Translate app, where is the gate for Bangkok Air? I've never flown this airline. I'm unsure where I am, blah, blah, blah. She walks me over. Everything's fine. I start checking in and I start thinking the process is a bit funny because we are traveling internally through Thailand and I'm having to give the lady my passport as though I'm traveling internationally. Which is fine. I just went with the flow, checked my bag in, got my stuff all sorted. I'm literally halfway through security and the lady is standing behind me screaming amongst like 30 people, I've still got your passport. And I'm like, I'm not going back. She's going to have to come to me. So I don't know how far I may have got before I actually realised the passport was still back at check-in, and that's never happened to me. So that just goes to show that I was a little bit stressed. But in saying that, it's such a lovely airport. Like, you just go with the flow, like lean into the whole busyness of Bangkok airport. It's, I don't know, it's like the best kind of chaos. And then sitting at the gate, I was starting to get a little bit shitty because there's literally so much security and you just have to keep checking things. You have to keep being reminded no power banks on the plane, blah, blah, blah. I get it, like be safety conscious, but when you're just kind of trying to get somewhere unknown and you don't know where you're going anyway. So it's just, I don't know, it's a big mess. Anyway, board the plane, and this is where it gets kind of fun because Bangkok Air, 10 out of 10, the food, phenomenal. It was literally a 40-minute flight, yet they gave me the most delicious fish red curry thing with steamed rice. Oh my gosh, I'm still thinking about this damn fish dish. And why would anyone serve fish on a plane? I don't know, but it was so delicious. And the coconut water and the juice, like, I was so excited to be going down to the islands. It just started like reminding me that these types of places exist in the world. And once we started flying to come into land into Koh Samui, and I was looking out the window and the water's blue and there's little islands all scattered everywhere, and you just start thinking, oh my God, I'm spending a week gonna explore the most amazing region. Unbeknown to me what the hell a Gulf of Thailand is. I don't have, like, we haven't really touched on this, but I think what I'm going to say next is something everyone really needs to be reminded of, and that's don't take what you see on social media to heart, and don't take so much of it on board that it's overwhelming, because I was so prepared for the worst situation, like food poisoning, holes in the ground to pee in, like mosquitoes, you name it. I'd actually spent my time in Bangkok at the 7-Eleven getting the things I'd seen on social media to prepare myself for the islands. I'm talking like the mozzie repellent the locals use, just all the different types of things that you're supposed to have because you're on a secluded island. I had no idea how humongous these islands were. And it's not a case of like you can take, half an hour to get around it. No. I'm talking 2 hours, 2 freaking hours. So as I'm coming into Koh Samui and I've got this transport organised to get to my hotel, friends start messaging me. They're all excited. She's in the islands. I'm literally sitting in this bus with the hottest guy. And a friend of mine who's just across the hill of Wanaka, she messages and she says, hey, Danny, I just want you to know that I actually met my fiance, now husband, whilst doing the trip you're doing. And I was sitting there and I was like, this is the weirdest message to come at this time, because I'm actually sitting next to a completely gorgeous guy. However, he got out at the wharf and he was actually heading to the islands abroad, more so than I was. So anyway, nothing was really switched out of like except highs and buys. So I got to my accommodation. This was just a one-night accommodation. It wasn't anything serious. It was just a transit accommodation before I got on the boat to Ko Tao the next day. So, yeah, look, it was a little bit weird. I was in this 2-story building and they actually had a sign that said, do not flush toilet paper. And I started freaking out. I was thinking, I am not conditioned to wipe and put toilet paper in a bucket next to the loo. And the wee girlies at the counter of the hotel were so sweet. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, imagine what they've seen, because I feel like it was a family-owned hotel and more or less they were reception and housekeepers. I don't know. So I checked in and I was, that room was the hottest room I think I was in the whole trip. It was like it hadn't been opened and air hadn't circulated, but the air conditioner was so cold. It just took so long to cool down. I'm sitting on the bed just thinking about what to do next, and I'm like sweating buckets. Like, what do? Do I open a door? Do I like sit and wait? I just didn't know. So I decided to start looking at food and actually what was around me, and it became quite overwhelming. I was thinking, like, I'm talking dirt roads, like a lot of marijuana, a lot of cannabis shops, lots of like, I don't know, it oozed like island appeal, but like kind of from a hippie perspective, really free spirited. It was kind of cool. The best part about this was about 200 meters up the street was a restaurant called Jack's. And I had a brother called Jack. He passed away. So to me, it was like a calling. And I thought, stuff it. Get yourself ready. Let's go out. Let's just go onto the island and do the nightlife. It's Saturday night. We'll just see what happens. Let's throw caution into the wind, So as I'm leaving the hotel, this squirrel, like I've never seen a squirrel in real life before, just ran past me, and I didn't scream or anything. I just stood there and cracked up laughing and thought, wow, that was really cool. And then as I'm walking up the street and I start seeing the Jack sign for the restaurant, I start getting chills. I'm like so excited. I was sitting in the most picturesque location watching planes coming into land on Koh Samui with these beautiful big palm trees, like tropical at its best. You know, coconuts could fall on you, whatever. The water's just there. It's blue as all shit. You're thinking, oh my God, this is stunning. So I had a couple of drinks. I kind of leaned into the whole island thing. It's a little bit hot, more hot than I thought it was going to be. And I started phone calling a few friends, and I was like, look at where I am. Jack's Bar, there's a DJ playing, I'm watching the planes, I'm just kind of like, what do I do next? And a friend said to me, you get on a scooter and you go to Fisherman's Village and you go for a walk. So I was thinking, oh, here we go. She hasn't thought about going on a scooter, but now all of a sudden it's like a thing. So it was barely $1. And I probably was on a scooter for like 7-8 minutes up to Fisherman's Village. So I wasn't far from it. I was kind of in the middle of, I forget the name of the one that was like, I have Canggu in my head, but it's not that. Fisherman's Village, and there's another place that starts with C. I'll think about it. Anyway, but yeah, I was smack bang in the middle because I wanted to be close to, I don't know why I thought that I had to stay near the airport to catch a flight to the next island, but I completely blanked on the fact that it's a half-hour trip from my hotel to the wharf to get to the boat that bloody well takes you to the island. So anyway, I was a little bit weirded out by the fact that I made that mistake, and I was like, oh, God, Danny, you've got to get up early tomorrow to catch the 10 a.m. Ferry. It's a Sunday morning. Is there going to be transport on the road? Like, let's not overthink it. Let's just go to Fisherman's Village and just see what the heck that's about. It is amazing. I couldn't even tell you how long the street is that you walk down. It's like a giant market with these amazing restaurants and happy hours. It's like 2 for $5 cocktails, the most nicest linen clothes I've ever seen in my life, bikinis, souvenirs, you name it. So I went and found this really great seafood restaurant. Don't know why. I didn't eat anything. And they had this extensive cocktail menu, and as say, it was 2 for $5. So I think I had 3 rounds. So I had my 6 cocktails, and I don't really think I was thinking about food at that stage, but I thought, I should. And so I start walking along the street. Nothing is taking my fancy. No Thai food, no Italian, no seafood. I was just walking for the sake of walking, to be honest. And it was so nice because people were so lovely. There was a lot of dogs, you know, like just, I don't know. There's a lot of animals to be here now that I think about it. And I come across this random, I don't know, it was just like music that I kind of was just like, what is this? It's called Ko Tao. Look it up, note it down. It's a whole thing. You've got to do it when you're in Koh Samui. I think they're actually considered the best fire show in the hemisphere of islands. I don't know. They all do a fire show, don't get me wrong. But Ko Tao is just like the most amazing DJ booth on the beach. You've got beanbags everywhere, hookah, shisha machines. And the lady said to me, are you just dining for one? And I was like, yeah, sorry, is that a problem? And she was like, no, I've got a perfect seat for you. And I was thinking, that's really nice because it was heaving for a Saturday night. And so she sits me in this beautiful, like, it was just facing the whole thing. And she says to me, look, the deal is minimum spend is $50, but we'll give you $50. And I'm thinking, oh my God, like fried rice or, you know, pad thai is like $6 and you want to give me $100? Like, what am I supposed to spend $100 on? So I started freaking out. I splurged that night. I'm not gonna lie, I was just so taken back by this. I was not hungry, but when she gave me that menu and I started seeing the food that they had, I was thinking, oh, you're in trouble. It's amazing. So I got the bruschetta, which obviously I love, like salsas and things on French stick. I got the most expensive linguine of my life. It was lobster, which is absurd. Why would I ever reach for that? But it was stunning. And I had multiple white sangrias, and I was just, I'm not going to lie to you guys, I cried. I know, but you can't be mad about me. I think I was just like, I'm actually doing this trip. I'm overly emotionally happy about it. And I find places like this on my adventure, and I just think, this is meant to be. This is actually like my kind of thing. I love experiencing things. I love meeting people. And the girl next to me, she was beautiful. Don't get me wrong, absolute stunner. And she was on a date with a sugar daddy. And she told me this. She was like, do you want to have a drink with us? And I'm thinking, oh, well, I haven't really got anyone to drink with anyway, so I might as well. So I started drinking with these two. And then I'm thinking, oh my gosh, Danny, you don't even know where your accommodation is from where you are right now. And I'm thinking, oh, I've got to go. So I start walking out of Coco Tams. I was so sad about that. I thought, I didn't want to leave. But honestly, it's a Saturday night and I just came across this guy who my brother had told me I think his name was Fisherman Jeff or something. And he does buckets of cocktails and he would pour more in than usual. So I found him and I was excited to have found him. I got my bucket and I was walking along the beach and then I was like, oh shit, where do you even catch transportation? So I started walking hopefully near a street. I was like, man, I'm making some bad choices tonight. So I go near the street and I order the scooter. I cannot tell you guys in all honesty if I had my arm around that driver. It's so bad, isn't it? But I was just sitting there just smiling, just so happy. I had my helmet on. I was just, oh my God, this is such a cool place. I want to come back here and spend more time, which is fine because I was. But it was just the most magical night from start to finish. I got back to the hotel. They actually gave me a lemonade. I thought maybe they thought I looked drunk. I don't know. But I got up to my room and I was just lying in my bed and I fell asleep. And then the next morning I got up at 6 a.m., which again, I'm not really someone that sleeps in when I'm on holidays. I started being a little bit hungry. So I walked down to the 7-Eleven. It was the nicest 7-Eleven for an island. I thought, oh my God, they actually have a lot of stock in this place. So I started getting all my breakfast things ready for my adventure to the islands. And so I started making a bit of a plan as to how to get to the jetty. And I got some, it was just normal transport, nothing out the ordinary. And then, the guy was really lovely. The way that he let me off out the car and he got the bag all ready for me. And I went in and checked in and I looked down at my feet again and I was like, oh my God, the swelling is just not subsiding. So I went to a pharmacy and the guy was like, you can't take anything. You're on blood thinners. You're just going to have to put your legs up. So I boarded this boat and I swear on my life, it was this big rusted heap of crap. And I'm thinking, oh, why do I make these decisions? I don't know if I booked this off a price or I saw photos of it. I don't even know. I just got on this damn boat and I was like, to Ko Tao, we're off to Ko Tao. There was probably 10 people and I saw a sign that said it held 475. So whatever, multiple life jackets if something went wrong. Anyway, I started lying there and I put my foot up on the side of the boat and I was just kind of leaning into you need to sort your foot out. This is going to be a problem if you can't make your stupid puffiness in your foot subside. So the whole way to Ko Tao, I had my leg up and weirdly enough, it fixed it. The liquid or the swelling in my foot went down. I ate all my snacks. I was just watching out the window for wildlife, dolphins, whales, who cares? You're in the middle of nowhere. I kind of had a panic attack. I was thinking, oh my word, I've actually come too far north. It is a 3-hour boat trip. If something was to happen, I think I'm too far from civilization. But in saying that, as we pulled into Ko Tao, I thought, no, this is where you're meant to be. It is I can't even describe it. The most stunning type island. It's just the way that it's set up. I get it. It's literally Byron Bay in Australia, but on an island. And they've got smoothie bowls, everything's all health and wellness. And I'm thinking, how do I get from the dock thingy to the hotel? Again, didn't plan that. So I don't know if any of you guys that are listening have ever seen the Ko Tao jetty, the wharf that you walk down to get to the island. There has been some comments made about this jetty, right? People are actually saying it's like a Crash Bandicoot Dodge style. I'm talking the most rickety hunk of shit you've ever seen in your life. I was petrified. I was talking out loud, please don't let me fall through this. I'm literally my own body weight plus backpack plus carry-on bag. And I'm freaking out. This could get really terrible really fast if I was to fall through this damn thing. It's not safe. I'm not going to lie. It looks like a hunk of shit. I even went back and took a video for friends because I was like, this is not okay. And then I got into Ko Tao's main sort of beach area where they were helping people get to hotels. And I knew from past experiences where social media had told me the minimum spend for public transport in Ko Tao is $20. It's not negotiable. That's the starting rate. They'll take you anywhere, but it just might cost you. So, I don't know. I threw my bag at this guy. He put it on the back of a ute. I sat in the tray of the ute. So, no roof, no seatbelt, no nothing. I broke my sandal trying to climb into the tray of the ute. I was the only one in it. Off we go to my hotel, up these bloody hills and shit. I almost fell out the back. Like, it was the most spectacular arrival. I'm not even kidding. It was just, wow, this is actually how I'm getting to my accommodation. The accommodation, phenomenal. Savage Hotel, Ko Tao. It's not a hostel. Absolutely not. That bed was like sleeping on a cloud. It was actually like the bed of my dreams. If I could bring that back to New Zealand, 100% I would. This hotel hostel thing, I don't know. I think this whole trip has just changed my whole perception about hostels. I don't even know. It was probably like $20, $25 a night, and it was stunning. Like the biggest monster of a building that was just so organized, and the rooftop pool with the restaurant bar thing, like these big cabana things you could sit in. It rained. I didn't give a shit. I was still lying on the rooftop at the pool there, just chilling. It was just so nice. And that first night I thought, I'll go for a walk and get something to eat. And then I ended up at this stupid bloody bar thing that had a pool in it, and there was pool tables, and it was so not planned, but like the best kind of chaos. And the next morning I was so slow getting out of bed. I went up to my 7-Eleven, got my toasty, got my iced coffee, went for a walk on the beach, then found a really cool restaurant. And then a friend of mine was messaging me, and I was like, you'll never guess what I've just done. But I got avocado on toast, so avocado on sourdough, and a ham and cheese croissant, a juice, and a coffee. And it barely came to $7. And the guy put down 2 sets of cutlery as though it was feeding 2 people. And I was like, no, like for barely $10 for all this food and drink, I was like, no, I'm going to eat it all. Like, I don't even care if I don't have lunch. Like, I'm going to get this down my gullet. So, yeah, it was quite funny because, I don't know, I just kind of felt like I should pig out. When you're in these beautiful locations, and it felt to me like a real health and wellness island. Like, you couldn't get sick here. I don't know why my brain was just like, you're safe, just eat everything. I don't know, it was great. So I went for a bit of a walk, and I thought I'd walk back to that damn jetty, because my understanding is if you don't take the public transport, it's a 2-kilometre walk from the hotel to the jetty to catch the boat to the next island. And I was like, you know what, it's 30-something degrees. Can I do it? Can I walk to the jetty and just see what the township looks like? As I'm walking, it starts raining. It's like disgustingly hot. I mean, I'm talking buckets of sweat. Like, I don't think I've ever sweat like this in my life. And I was a little bit cheeky. Sorry. I was walking along and I saw this like private pool, and I saw a sign that said private pool, minimum spend $10. And I was like, I beg your pardon? Like, it's stunning. I mean, it overlooks the ocean. It's just like an infinity pool. $10? So I was like, there's something wrong here. So I walked into town, got my 7-Eleven drinks, got some snacks, and then I walked back to this random pool, and I said to the guy, can I pay to use the pool? And he was like, yeah, I think it's 200 Thai baht, which is $10. And I was standing there like, this has got to be a joke. It's literally the day before I turned 39, and I'm in this random place. I've got my drinks, my snacks, the sun's out, it's stopped raining, and there's this pool, and all he wants is $10 to swim in it, and it's stunning. But more to the point, in the corner was a giant D for Danny. So I took this video and I sent it to all these friends and family, posted on social media, and they're like, why is there a D there? Did they do that, or is this, what the hell? But I think it was something like DD Resort or something. I don't know. So I spent about 3, if not 4 hours just ginning about this bloody pool. No one else came. There was no one around. It was just the most chilled situation. I was so content. And whenever I'm on holiday, when I'm on an island or whatever, and you get a little bit of sun, your vitamin D's up, and then you go back to your accommodation and you just kind of like sit in the air conditioning. You've got sand on your feet, sand on your hair, and you just think, it's just like, I don't know, it does something to your like happiness. Like all of a sudden your melatonin, your cortisol, everything's all just happy. I don't know. I just was so there's no words. I don't even know how to describe it. And then I went out for dinner that night, which unfortunately the beef fried rice was appalling. It was weird. It was stringy, and I thought, I'm not eating that. I'm going to get sick. It started raining. The restaurant thingy got guilty about the fact that we were all on the beach having dinner and we had to run inside, that they gave us free cocktails. I think I had a passion fruit margarita, but there was pips in it, and I hate that. So I went back to my accommodation. I thought, I'll just lie in bed for a bit and just chill until the storm thingy passes. Unfortunately, I fell asleep, so I didn't go out that night, which is fine. Maybe out of my 2 nights on all the islands, I was kind of getting a bit of momentum that like one night you should stay in and eat good food, and the next night you should go out and have fun and make a mess of things. So my second night I stayed in and just chilled and packed my bag ready for the next, because obviously the next day I was going to Koh Samui-sharing. And that being my birthday, I don't really know what to expect here, but oh my goodness, I had to go down the jetty again, get back on the boat. It started raining. I was watching this girl. She was carrying coffee, and I thought, there's absolutely no way she's going to fall in the bloody water. Like, I don't know. It just goes through your head, like, how much things can turn if you're not being careful. So anyway, as we're going to Koh Samui-sharing, I'll sort of speed this up a little bit because obviously I've still got 2 more islands to talk about. We get to Koh Samui-sharing, and everyone rushes to the public transport area. And I'm just standing there and I'm like, oh my gosh, like everyone's bartering for the price of things. Like it's just a big grab fest. Koh Samui-sharing's really known for its full moon parties and stuff. So it's a little bit younger, a bit messier, a bit of a, I don't know, there's more, I don't know, it's more like a nightlife type thing. I assume people sleep during the day and then they go out at night when it's cooler. I don't know. So anyway, as I'm at the bus stop and I'm standing there, I'd sort of told a few people the day of that I was staying at this resort called Tommy's Resort. And the joke is, obviously my brother's name's Tom, that it's kind of like a sign. It was my 39th birthday. Tom booked it. No, actually I booked it, but he paid for it. So I started tagging on social media that I was coming to Tommy's Resort, and we were all excited, rah-rah. As I'm at the bus stop and I'm looking around and I'm like, what the fuck? People are just like charging these buses. I got a little bit overwhelmed. I took a step back and I was like, okay, just hang on a minute because people are getting trod on here. So anyway, randomly, and this story just gives me chills. I just got goosebumps. Randomly, this guy just says to me, Miss Wilson? And I turned and I looked at him and my face must have been white. And I was like, yeah, how did you know that? And then he was like, this way, please. And the way that he just gestured towards this white van with white leather interior, big leather seats that were like lazy boys where you flick the foot pad up. I was like, oh my God, what is happening? And he says, well, I'm here to collect you for Tommy's Resort. And I just was like, how did you know? And I was like, okay. So I threw my bag in the back of the car and I got in and I was messaging a few people so people knew that this was a situation just in case this guy was kidnapping me. And I get to this resort and he pulls up right next to the beach and it's like stunning. There's a sign that says, I love Koh Samui-sharing. The people at the resort are welcoming me with these like flower lei things. There's a live band playing on the deck. I just stood there and I was like, am I in the Twilight Zone? Is this a simulation? Like, what the fuck? So I go inside and there's a sign behind the reception that says, this is a party resort. Please do not complain to me about the noise. And I just cracked up because there was literally nothing about this resort that screamed it was a party resort. It had this big, beautiful pool. It had the beach right there. It had sun lounges, a huge deck that had a live band. It was fully a restaurant that had all the amenities. It actually was like a compound. It had these big, beautiful rooms. It had massages. It had its own 7-Eleven. It had its own transport system. I just stood there and I said to the guy behind the reception, how did the driver know that I was coming and what I looked like or anything? And he says, oh, you tagged us on social media. And I was thinking, oh my God, what the hell? I don't even think I look like my profile picture. So they clicked it and they did some searching and stuff. And then they just randomly went to the jetty. I don't even know how long he'd stood there waiting to see if I would get off the boat. I have no idea to this day. So I'm in the room and the bar fridge is full. I mean, there's beers, there's everything. And they're like $2 or $3. And I'm thinking, holy shit, like I didn't even know the minibar was going to be full, but to be that cheap. So I cracked a beer and then my mum rang and I kind of must have sounded really distant or like off. And she was like, is everything okay? So I just had the most random special thing happen and I can't even describe what my brain is thinking. It was just, it's like unorganized chaos, but like in the best way. And Mum was cracking up laughing and she says, oh God, so the only thing you need in life is a bloody white van with leather interior and some air conditioning and you'll get in anything. And I was like, wow, mostly. Yes, mother. But yeah, so it started my 2 days off in Koh Samui-sharing and it's just like the most magical island. I don't know. A few people have said to me, you're in the south, so it's more chilled than the north. You should go to the north. It's like hectic. But the beach I was on at Hardrin, I think it was called. Well, that actually like came off my tongue just way too fast. I actually was thinking the other day, where the hell was I in all this? But anyway, that beach, it is mostly for full moon parties. There's like multiple places that have the celebrations. They all do buckets. There's like these amazing streets that are all lit up with all the fairy lights and stuff. Like it's really nice and really well done. I found this big Bob Marley bar, so I was spending a lot of time just being nosy and checking the place out. And there was a McDonald's, but the funny thing was, when the day that I arrived, being my birthday, was their saving power day. So there was no power anywhere. Everything was run on generators. So I went into the 7-Eleven and there was no power. You had to pay with cash. Went to the Macca's, nothing was working. They couldn't even serve burgers. That was a whole thing. So I decided to jump in the pool, get into the ocean, jump in the pool. And then the last time I was going to the ocean, I just kind of like had my day bag, which is like this little striped tote bag that had a towel in it and some drinks. And I was just walking down to the beach and it started getting a little bit busier. And I just put my tote on the I was just walking and I just dropped it basically. And I just dove into the ocean and I just stood there and I just cracked up laughing and I just thought, oh my God. I'm 39. I'm in this beautiful location. There's no power. People are just kind of like cruising. There's no rush for anything. This is my resort for 2 nights. I was so happy. I went back to the hotel room and I started to get ready for the evening, more or less. I was a little bit drunk, not gonna lie. I had a few margaritas on the bar at the resort's bar. And then just as I was out of the shower and I was walking around this huge hotel room, like it was massive. I just don't know why I did this, but I just put this like slinky dress on and I just thought, I'm just going to lie on the bed for a bit and just chill out and, I don't know, play on social media, don't worry about anything, and then I'll go out like soon as it starts getting darker. I don't even know why I thought about this, because at the end of the day, there was no power. Like, why would I go into the streets when there's no power? Anyway, all of a sudden I was at one of the full moon parties, sitting on a beanbag, watching the fireworks and the fire show, and I'm like, I forgot to put undies on. Not a word of a lie. Not a word of a lie. The day of my birthday, I'm sitting on a beach watching the full moon fireworks and shit, having my couple of drinks on my beanbag, and I'm not wearing undies. Like, what the fuck? It was like, oh my God, have I made a bad decision? Should I run back to accommodation and put undies on? Like, I don't know if it's just the fact that for the past couple of days I've just been kind of like living in togs. I didn't even think about knickers. And then it was a whoopsie moment, but I'm not sad about it. I don't know. I did end up staying down at the beach for a couple of hours. And then I actually made friends with a stray cat and a couple of African girls that were traveling all together. So they included me. And then I went over to Macca's and they seemed to be open. So I got some burgers and it was weird, actually. It was really, really delicious. Found a really awesome supermarket that I'd never seen before and brought all these random things from there. Went back to my accommodation and I slept so well that night. Like, it was just a lot of sunlight, sand, happiness. I don't know. I actually felt really good because it's hard having a birthday and not, being around the people that you love. But at the same time, like, it didn't really feel like my birthday. It just felt like just a really good day that I could just enjoy by myself. And I wasn't scared. There was not an inch of me that was thinking, oh shit, you've made a bad choice or anything like that. Like, I was just so like, what's next? What's going to happen tomorrow? Because everything so far has just been so good. So, yeah, I spent my 2 nights in Koh Samui-sharing, Hardrin Beach, Tommy's Resort, 100 out of 10. Like, I've already told my mum and my brother, like, I would go back there in a heartbeat and take the family because there's something so special about that place. It would live on in my head that was where I spent my 39th birthday, that's for sure. So anyway, got myself back to the jetty to go to Koh Samui for the next 2 nights. And this is my, favourite part because I was at the next resort based off a recommendation from my brother from another mother. He's like the most amazing guy. It's literally, he's not related to me. I just call him my brother. He looks more like me than my actual brother. So there's that. But yeah, he had such good expectations for me to go and enjoy myself at Ark Bar in Koh Samui. So yeah, look, I was really excited to get back. I obviously would rate them Koh Samui at the top, Koh Phangan in the middle, and Ko Tao at the bottom. Ko Tao to me was a little bit expensive, a bit fancy, more like bougie. Like I said, Byron Bay, Australia, on an island. It was health and wellness. It's not really my vibe. It was a little bit of a party place, don't get me wrong. It's just a lot of sunsets, a lot of like influences. I'm saying that term with a bit of looseness because my friend just got back from Bali and he was like, oh, I didn't like da-da-da because these influences. I was like, who in the hell is looking for influences these days? But anyway, so get to Koh Samui and I check in. It's like the most amazing, like, busy area. I just thought, whoa, this is going to be fun because he's recommended a restaurant. He's literally recommended the hotel. This is kind of going to be where I'm settling in for a good couple of days. And I'm excited, you know. So this Ark Bar, it's a bit special. 2 p.m. till 2 a.m. every single night is a DJ and it is magic, pure magic. The swimming facilities, stunning. And where they upgraded me to, that overlooked the beach, the pool area, it was like my own balcony. Oh my gosh, it was just so amazing. And across the street was a Burger King. To the left was a McDonald's. You had all the souvenir shops, all of the, what do you call them? The bars. Just, oh, it was so cool. So the restaurant he recommended was one called The Islander, Islandr. And every single day they had a cocktail of the day, which was $3. And I just happened to be there when it was margaritas and frozen daiquiris. Woo! Did I sink a few of them, but in the best way because there's nothing like it. And he even recommended some basil dish that had onions and pork mince. And he's like, it was just something that he ate the whole time. He'd have like 2 or 3 bowls of it. And I had 2. Don't get me wrong. It's lovely. I was just like, why are we eating this? Anyway, the menu was huge. I really loved just eating at the Islander. It was safe. It had the best viewpoint. The planes flew over the restaurant, over the resort. It was just, I don't know. It sat with me that it was just such a cool place and a good part of Koh Samui to be in. When you went into the resort itself, it had its own facilities for buying everything. It's its own compound. And even the beach was stunning and the guys that would come up to you and top up your drinks and stuff. So the first night that I was there, I went down to the beach and people had like baby monkeys and chameleon lizards. There was just a whole lot of people that, you know, those ones that you pay them to touch their pets. Sounds really terrible, but I wasn't the one that was holding the baby monkeys or the chameleons. I was taking photos of the people that had them. I was like, oh, look, there's a baby monkey right next to me, but I'm not paying $5 to hold it. A lot of people selling a lot of weird things, but I wasn't interested in buying anything. And I was just sitting amongst all these people that were including me. Like, don't get me wrong, everyone was really lovely and friendly. It was just a case of like, I don't know, I didn't stay with anyone long enough to get to know anyone. It was just like, oh, cool, you're staying at Ark Bar. Me too. Okay, next question. So I had a couple of drinks, watched the fire show, went up to the bar. I actually went over to the main guy and I said to him, I'm staying at the resort. This is my key card. Can I borrow one of these day beds? Because there's big signs on them that say that there's a minimum spend, but if you're staying at the resort, you don't have to. So I ordered a Long Island iced tea and I was sitting there and then I went out to the pool area and then I came back to my seat and I probably did that like 6 or 7 times that whole evening, and all of a sudden it was 2 a.m. and the DJ was packing up and I was like, shit, where'd that go? But yeah, it was probably just like, I don't know, I kind of felt like I should stay out because my bedroom overlooked the bar and the pool, and I thought there's absolutely no way I'm going to sleep knowing that this is partying below me. Like, just go and get amongst it, you know? And then all of a sudden it was like all packing up and I could go to bed. It was really cool, but that room was absolutely stunning. Oh my gosh, it'd just been refurbished and it was just all beautiful blue island vibes, and there was just a real calmness to it. Even though it was so hectic outside, you just couldn't really tell. So yeah, the next day I ended up in an elephant sanctuary and I was feeding elephants, and there was no fences. These elephants could come up into the restaurant, but they just didn't. It was kind of like, how do they know not to? I was sitting there just watching this baby elephant for like 3 hours. The funny thing is if you actually end up going to Haven Elephant Sanctuary in Koh Samui, don't forget to go to the bathroom. Weirdly enough, the bathroom has a better viewpoint than the whole bloody place. So I was up there and this lady came in and she was like, I've gone to the toilet twice and you're still in here. And I was like, well, why would you leave when this is what you get to sit and watch? And it's not a nasty toilet, like nothing stunk. It was just the facilities were, I don't know, really lovely. And I just stayed up there. So just looping back to all the times that I was away on the islands, because, you know, a whole lot of questions around the toilets and everything else. I was so prepared, you guys, so prepared for everything, and nothing was a worry. There was no disgusting facilities, no holes in the ground, never had to use my stash of tissues that I had in my purse ready to not use what they had on offer. The only time I was stuffed up was on the boat between a couple of the islands. I don't know which ones I was going between, but I accidentally went into the men's toilets, not the females, and there was no toilet paper. So that's the only time I actually used my own, was because the boys didn't have it. But I can assume that, I don't know, they just peed and shaked and walked away. But yeah, it was just, that was a mistake on my part. But I never used the mosquito spray, never used the tissues except for that once. I feel like it was just a whole lot of rigmarole that, you know, this is how the Thai people, I don't know, bathe or use toilets and stuff, and we just have to do that as people that are visiting. But in hindsight, it was the most cleanest time on an island ever, the whole time. Never an issue. And my toilets in all the hotels were just absolutely beautiful and everything was so clean. And I don't know, I would say it was worse in Bali. It's way worse in Bali than it is in Thailand. So if you ever worried and you think, oh my gosh, I have to get down on my like squat position to pee in Thailand, where? I'm honestly questioning everything, because I spent 2 nights on each of these islands and never once did I find even an establishment or a bar or restaurant that was, you know, questionable. It was all perfect, above the line, no sickness, nothing to worry about. And my time in Koh Samui, yeah, look, I had 3 nights there, and that one night where I thought I had to pee on toilet paper and put it in a bucket was just something that was just so, it was new to me, and I was a little bit worried, but I just did it. I did it and got on with it, and I just thought, I'm sure there's way worse situations that people, you know, have to use the bucket. But anyway, I love Koh Samui, 10 out of 10. There's a million things I could tell you about that whole trip. But in saying that, Ko Tow's over in Fisherman's Village and Akbar, where I was just absolutely special. I managed to find a market. I made some cool passport holders for me and my mum for presents. Didn't really come away from the islands with many souvenirs. I think when I was in Ko Tao and I spent $10 on that private pool for the day, that memory will live rent-free in my head. It was just such a really special time. And then when I was in Koh Phangan, just the memory of the transport. There wasn't even anything on the website that said transportation from the ferry to the venue, the resort. So that was really something interesting and really special and overwhelming, to be honest. I still have no words about that. I did manage to get a full moon party singlet, because I did go to like a little bit of a party on the beach, but it wasn't the actual full moon one that everyone raves about. I don't think I was in Thailand when there was a full moon, so I just got the singlet and walked away. But in Koh Samui, I did make those passport holders for me and Mum, just because it seemed like the thing to do. My one's got Thailand flags on it and planes and boats. And Mum's has got elephants and a picture of Thailand. So yeah, really, really chill couple of days out in the islands. I recommend the Gulf of Thailand to anyone. It is a really special location, completely something new. I mean, I don't even know how many islands there actually are. I never looked into that, but in saying that, it's just something when you fly into Koh Samui and you can see them all. Well, what you can see. I do regret not going on a boat thingy, like a tour out to more islands. But in saying that, I was so content with just, like, if I had a shitty accommodation, then I'd fill the day with having to do those types of experiences and going to different places. But like I said to a lot of people, I think my safety was the fact that I was in these beautiful resorts and I didn't have to leave. I didn't have to explore too far. I was really safe. And there was little trips I took that were short bursts. Like I went up to see the monkeys on the hill in Koh Samui, but it's actually called Monkey Tree or Monkey Hill or something. And it's like 2 minutes from the accommodation. So, I mean, I really didn't go far. I didn't have any need to. If people said to me, oh, you got 3 months to travel around, maybe. I mean, you could get bored and you'd want to see different things. But for the most part, this was my first time in seeing a lot of things. So I didn't have to be just constantly on the go. I ate good food. I just traveled. I enjoyed the boat rides. I was so centered and watching like what was around me. I barely touched my phone. A few people were like, whoa, you've barely posted. And I just thought, well, this is my journey. I don't want to be immersed in my phone. I'm literally here to observe what's going on in another part of the world, see how they live, eat their food, speak with them about their culture. It's not a case of like, it really bothered me, even though the boat rides it's quite long and tedious, how much people were just watching movies and not really watching what was around them. And I feel like if something was to go wrong on the boat or whatever, it's kind of like, well, you weren't watching anyway. It could have hit a rock or a whale could have swam past. We could be sinking and you're still sitting there watching some Netflix. Like, I don't know. Different things just sat different with me after a few days, and I was thinking, oh, am I just blanking on the fact that this is where I am? Or like, I don't know, I just completely switched off, you guys. I was so calm and collected. And then when I had to check out of my Arc Bar experience and start heading to the airport to get on the plane to go to Phuket, and I felt like, oh, my trip's coming to an end. I've seen some amazing things through the islands, and I could literally spend another whole week on Koh Samui. I mean, I don't know if you know this, but it's actually 2 hours to get around Koh Samui in transport. So, in saying that, I probably did like a fingerprint on the map. It was a very small section where I went to Fisherman's Village one day and then spent a fair bit of time in the area near my accommodation the other time. But that was like the big island in my perspective. Although Koh Samui, a few people have said that that's a big island as well, but I don't know. Anyway, as I got to Koh Samui Airport and I was checking out, going through the departures, just a little bit of advice is really interesting. I've never seen this before at an airport. When you are leaving, what you do is you put your bag through the machine to be scanned, like your checked-in bag. So obviously in New Zealand or Australia, you put it on and they take it away and then it ends up on the plane. In Koh Samui, you put it on this like conveyor belt, it gets scanned, and then you go over to like this other area where you have to stand and watch that. If your bag is triggered for drugs or things that it shouldn't have in it, then you have to go to a different area to unpack your bag and get those things out. It's quite scary. I was standing there like, oh my word. Because Thailand's so big on drugs. I mean, there was multiple times I was offered different things, everything from mushrooms to MD, coke, ecstasy, a lot of marijuana. I think marijuana is illegal in Thailand, but vaping's not. Makes no sense because then you go to Bali and vaping's like all everywhere. It's like $1 a vape, but you can't touch drugs. So if you come from Thailand and you've touched a bit of marijuana and then you end up in Bali, like I reckon that you'd be pulled aside because your bag would stink. I don't know. There's something that doesn't sit well with me about this. But so my bag got scanned and I was just watching it. No one touched it or anything. No drugs, no moments of anticipation. But the actual airport itself is extremely chill. It's all open. You just get to sit on this bit of grass and just watch planes land. There's a wee moat, like a bit of water that goes past you. It's so nice. And the way that they just take you on these golf carts over to the aeroplane. Oh, that airport lives rent-free in my head. Magic, absolutely magic. Anyway, I will leave it there. I think this is a lot of information for my Gulf of Thailand episode, and I will leave you to mull over that for a week. And saying that, when we come back, it's part 3. So we're going to Phuket for 2 nights. And then I go on a bit of an adventure from Phuket through to Singapore, through to I'll leave you guys hanging. But no, if you enjoyed this episode, please give me a bit of feedback. Let me know on Spotify. We are down to the wire now. Episodes are diminishing. I'm going to be cutting ties with podcasting very soon. But I mean, in saying that, it's interesting because I think you guys really love the travel episodes. There's so many things that happen that obviously I look down now and I'm at 50 something minutes and I'm thinking I have barely even touched on what I want to, because there's just a lot and I don't want to drag this out more than I need to. But I do enjoy telling you about my travel adventures. It's more interesting than nights out on the town. I get that. That shit can be repeated. Times in other countries may not. But yeah, my adventure was spectacular. Gulf of Thailand, 10 out of 10. I definitely recommend everyone does it. But yeah, I will see you next Tuesday for another episode, part 3, probably the final part to my travel series. But yeah, let me know what you think and give me all the feedback. I will talk to you again in a week. Bye for now.